Party 1 and Party 2 are beholden to the same elites. What other than pronounced disobedience can bring this train back on the rails? Hold on. And there's a second one that's not actually a question, but is sort of related. I hope for DeSantis versus RFK. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah. But the people who called the... So must be a word missing in here. I'm going to read it as it's written. I can't quite... Yeah. But the people who called the correct conspiracy theorists make me... Maybe the is supposed to be it. But the people who called it correct, so-called conspiracy theorists, make me dream Trump and well-deserved punishment.
Well, I mean...
DeSantis versus RFK would we'd actually get debate. We'd actually get conversation.
Yep.
We'd actually get change.
I mean, look, I was listening to DeSantis' announcement on Twitter, which was not at all the way it was portrayed in the media.
You don't say.
Yeah.
How shocking.
It is shocking. But I was blown away by what it was like to hear a contender for the office speak off the cuff, articulately, lay out positions that he knew would not please everybody. This wasn't something that was designed to obscure some other thing. This was just an intelligent human being giving his perspective, knowing that it would anger some, that it would embolden others. And it is so different from what a modern presidential campaign sounds like. It's like...
And it's clearly so important to the Democrats that he get nowhere close to the
that he get
nomination.
No traction, right?
Yeah,
because
so
they would far rather elect Trump than DeSantis.
Yeah, DeSantis would be more effective and more powerful, and stand to actually change the course of some things.
Yep, I mean. That's without saying good or bad. It's just that at least this is a patriotic human being who is intelligent, has not lost his mind to dementia, or is not so beholden to something else that he can't lay out a position, right? And to me, the thing that is most frightening...
Yeah, and he looks like a patriot, and I know Kennedy's a patriot.
Yep.
Kennedy's...
No, I think they both are.
Yeah.
I think they both are. And, we know Kennedy better than we know DeSantis, but I've met the man, and I believe he's a patriot. But here, this leads right to the really troubling thing here, which is how unpatriotic would you have to be to attempt to meddle from the blue side in the red primary against DeSantis because he is competent, right? Because he is capable of behaving like an adult in office, right? You should want...
It happened in 2016.
Of course it did. Of course it did. And the same people are meddling. But I guess my point is, what doesn't get said about them enough is it is unpatriotic to try to get rid of the rational person in the other party who might ascend to the office, because at the end of the day, a patriot wants the best person in the office who can get there. And if the red folks win and you're a blue folk, you should want the competent person on the red team in the office. You want that person picking up the phone if there's a question about launching nuclear weapons.
Yeah, if you're going to lose, you want second best in office. Not, if I'm going to lose, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
And that's not a patriotic position.
This is, in fact, why traditionally you are not allowed to vote in the other team's primary. Right? There's a perverse incentive. Right. You do not want your other party enfeebled by people voting for the loser in that party so that they can beat him. Right? That's not the way the system is supposed to function. And in this case, my feeling is Kennedy is closer to my value system.
Yep.
But I am comfortable with either of those people in the office, right? I will sleep easy with either of those people in the office, knowing that there is an adult there to do the job of steering the country.
Right. So we talked in the main live stream about what I perceive as my naivete about thinking that never again wasn't really relevant to the United States. But I also could not have imagined I'm making myself appear to have thought a lot about American politics when I was a kid, and I didn't. But it was the bicentennial. Like, we had that when we were 7, right? So like in 1976, and Reagan came to office, and that polarized everyone. And there was a big third part, like Iran Contra. Like, there was a lot of stuff happening to think about. The oil, the gas lines in the late 70s. I remember being in those gas lines with my dad just for hours. Like, I got good father-daughter time, but for fuck's sake, like, crazy. But as much as each election seemed polarizing, and in my household, my parents actually voted opposite directions, and so canceled each other's votes out often. And there we didn't have heated dinner conversations about that fact. It was just a known thing, and I thought it was bizarre, but I hope it wasn't, actually, because I think that's a really good sign that you can love each other so deeply and feel very differently about who should be running the country. But as a result, I felt like, as much as, I thought, when Reagan was elected, and I was 11 or whatever, like, this is terrible, it's a disaster for the country. It wasn't, I guess. And I don't know exactly what the truth is there still, but I never would have imagined that I would be dreaming about a situation in which there were 2 plausible candidates running for president in the 2 major parties instead of 0.
Right.
like
where it would be
like, we have to dream about having plausible candidates. What part of democracy have we forgotten?
Right. It would be win-win. You had two competent people, 2 competent, courageous patriots running for the office. And then the point is, well, I prefer this one to that one, but I'm okay with a loss rather than, oh my God, the sky is falling if this other person gets into the office. Right. And we are being marshaled in the direction of a system that puts us in that predicament every time, or creates the impression that it has. Right. I do remember, all of those times that we were told, you can't do a third-party thing this year. You know why? Because you'll elect so-and-so if you do, and we cannot afford that. And then you got to
wait, son.
Right.
Your time will come, but not now. This is too important. This one's too important. Do you understand that we're fighting for issue du jour?
You don't want to be responsible for electing so-and-so. And you know what? The Supreme Court, right? You wouldn't want to be responsible for that.
No, you would not.
So the point is, now that the dam has broken, we've elected the greater evil. The world did not end. The Supreme Court has fallen. The world is not ending. I'm not arguing that you have to be happy with the direction things are going, but the point is, like, I knew this was a con at the point that it was Mitt Romney who was the greater evil that we couldn't possibly risk electing.
I love that you use him as the example. You're like, Mitt Romney, he just is not the supervillain you've been waiting for. He's just not.
Whatever he is, the point is, in the context of Trump, everybody's like, oh, if we could only get a candidate like Mitt Romney. And it's like, do you remember what you told me about Mitt Romney? You were like, that will be the end of the universe if this person is elected, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It will always be the end of the universe.
It will always be the end of the universe until we start ignoring them because they're lying.
Yeah.